Hi friend, in this video I am going to discuss about the Oracle database background process. Basically the Oracle database background processes are two type. One is mandatory background process, the another one is optional background process, and these background processes are basically responsible for making instance alive, and it will able to connect with the database files, and overall all the background processes are responsible for doing all the database activities during the database. When the database will up and running, that time all this background process will be doing their responsibility. So obviously these background processes are very important. If those who are new to Oracle database, they should be having a very good understanding to know which background process do what on the database level. So that I am making this video separately. Even in my database architecture and database startup sequence lecture also I have covered this topic, but yes, there I have not covered each and every background process, especially in that. So that's the reason I am covering it here in detail. Like as you can see, these are the PMON, SMON, DB writer, log writer, checkpoint, MMON, MMLN, and RECO are the mandatory background process, and there are some optional background process like archiver, coordinator, job sequence, and dispatcher. These are optional background process. This query will display the background process from the server, like you by dictionary view v$ process. If you run select p name from v$ process, where the p name is not null, ordered by p name, you will get all the background process which are running. So yeah, so as you can see, the first background process is PMON. PMON is basically called as process monitor, and it is basically responsible for cleanup. It is a cleanup type of process that clean up the failed processes, and like it has multiple functions that it performs, like all the rollback transaction, it roll back and it release the lock, like at the time when any session is doing any activity on any particular object, and other session is trying to access the same object. So during that time, because that one session is already doing something on that, executing any DML or something, and doing some changes on the any table or any object. So for that time period, there will be a lock on that object, that is called lock. So after that session, like once this due to any reason, if the session is getting terminated, or if the database is getting powered off, like power failure happen, or if the database is getting restarted, so in that case this PMON is responsible for making those session cleanup, and also like it's release the lock that I discussed just now, and releasing other resources, like it will release the other database resources and restart the dead dispatchers. Dispatchers are basically responsible for carrying forward that request from listener to server process. So yeah, that is the dispatcher. It will make that dispatcher clean up. So the next is system monitor. System monitor is also a very important background process which is responsible for instance recovery and roll forward changes in reader log. Like it does the roll forward, and if any power failure happen or any crash happen, that time whatever the DML statements will be there, those will get rolled out, and it will be responsible for making the instance recovery, so that SCN number should be get updated to the control file and data file, and the your database will be in a consistent mood. So for that, instance recovery is the responsibility of SMON, and open the database for user access, and in making a database in open mode, that is also a SMON responsibility, and rollback uncommitted changes, transactions, that will it will roll back all the uncommitted transaction. Like let's suppose due to any particular reason power failure happen, or like from the DBA side itself has fire a command, database abort. So in those cases instance recovery is required, and then it will be responsible for doing this rollback. And coalesces free space, especially it happens in that case, like when you work on a database, all the time you are doing some changes on the database, so it will be sometime you are adding something or deleting something, or changing something. So every time on the memory level it creates some free spaces. So when the instance restart happens, so that time it release all these free spaces, and it will make those free spaces available for the next restart. Like after that it will be available, that is spaces will be available, and delocates the temporary segment. Like temporary segment is basically used for sorting operations, and yeah, after that after the restart it will delocate that is memory segment, and that is space will be available actually. So that's the work of SMON, and this is also very important background process. The next is DB writer. DB writer is basically used for this is also called as database writer, and that modify the database all the modified database buffer cache changes will get written through DB writer to the data file. So there are some condition on that basis. It writes all the changes, all the dirty buffers to the data file. So the DB writer writes on the basis of few conditions, like check whenever the check pointer will occur, dirty buffer reach to the threshold. So once the dirty buffer will get filled up, like it's getting filled up for more than threshold value, that time it will start writing, DB writer will start writing to data file. If there is no free buffer left in the buffer cache, that time also it will write, and rack ping request made, that time also it will write. Table space, if you as a DBA you are making table space offline, that time also it will start writing. And read only, making a table space read only, or table drop or truncate, or table space begin backup is getting started. In all these conditions your DB writer will start writing. So the next is log writer. Log writer is basically responsible for writing all the read log changes which are there in the read log buffer. It will start writing to read log file. So that's the duty of log writer. And log writer also writes on the basis of some conditions, like if the commit happened, like all the changes will get committed, that time DB writer will start writing those changes to the read log file. And when 1/3 is full, like read log buffer is 1/3 full, that time also it will start writing. When there is a 1 MB of redo, if it reaches to 1 MB, then also it will start writing. Every 3 seconds it will start writing to DB writer. And the last is buffer before DB writer writes, means when the DB writer will like all the condition is, if in buffer cache is getting fulfilled, then DB writer will start writing. Once it will start writing, before DB writer writes. So means before DB writer writes here, it will start writing to all the changes to the read log file, and then DB writer will write. So these are the condition, on that basis it will write actually. So yeah, and then check pointer is kind of alarm system that will be designed on the database level, and it will update, it will make the database sync with the latest SCN number. All the changes will get updated to data file, and the control file, whatever the changes are coming from the read log, it will get updated here. So that is happening on every 3 seconds, and there are some condition responsibility for signaling a DB writer at checkpoint, and updating a data file headers with the check pointer information, updating a control file with the check pointer information. So these are the things. On that basis, the DB check pointer, that's the duty of the check pointer. Yes, after that the check pointer, these are the mandatory one, and then after that you can see there is some other background process like optional background processes. So those optional background processes are like archiver, and as you can see here, these are like not that important, but yes, I'll just give some overview in that. Like archiver is basically used for copying a read log file from read log file to archive location. And coordinator job sequence, this is responsible for coordinating a job QE, like whatever jobs are there in the QE, it will coordinate to those. And dispatcher, I have already discussed, like it is responsible for carrying that request from listener to server, server process. So these are the background process. Thanks for watching till here. I hope if this video is helpful for you, please like and subscribe my channel.